smells great. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Good morning and welcome back. Well, that right there is North Carolina's Congressman Dan Bishop's son getting spray painted in the face at North Carolina State University. Bishop says the Young Democrats Socialist Club confronted him while he hung flyers for a Turning Point USA event that took place last night. Joining us now, Congressman Dan Bishop, and his son, Jack Bishop. Thank you both for joining us. Appreciate that. Sorry for that little mishap there. It's early, you know. First
good.
of all,
How are you?
Jack, why don't you go ahead and tell us what we were looking at in that video?
Well, myself and a few members of Turning Point USA, a local chapter of the club here on NC State's campus, we were advertising for an upcoming event that we had this past night with Charlie Kirk and Laura Trump in the Free Expression Tunnel here on campus. We were painting advertisements for the group when we had about 24 people from YDSA, the Young Democratic Socialists of America, roll up unprovoked, uninvited, with more spray paint than you can find in a Walmart, frankly. And they began to paint over everything that we had just done, and one of their members completely ruined a piece of property of mine, and another one sprayed me in the eye. Another gentleman actually battered about 2 or 3 women who had the audacity to stand in the way of their of them as they tried to tear down our flyers. But it was just very concerning for the state of the campus and of free speech.
Congressman, when you saw this video and when you heard your son's story, what did you think?
Well, what we've all become accustomed to is a hallmark of the left today, very unfortunately, is this tendency to want to intimidate, to want to tear down opposing speech as opposed to offer speech in competition. And so I would say that it just makes me proud of Jack and his friends and other young conservatives on campus who are willing to stand up and not be intimidated by that. I think a lot of what we see today in our politics across the spectrum and in the big picture is about intimidation. And we just got a long tradition in my family. Jack is a good example of it. We don't give in to intimidation, so I'm proud of him.
Here's a statement from Turning Point USA at North Carolina State University, and this says, quote, "While painting, the tunnel was stormed by radical leftist protesters who spray painted one Turning Point member in the eye and intimidated other members. We expect much more from our tolerant counterparts on the left." Jack, this was in preparation for an event that took place last night. I understand that you went to that event, that you were on stage with someone we know here, Charlie Kirk. Tell us about it.
Yes, ma'am. We were at the event. It was with Charlie Kirk and Laura Trump. He was giving a talk, and he mentioned me briefly initially, and that was fine. I thought that would be the lot of it. But as he continued, he started talking about free speech on campus and how it had a clear tendency for the left did to work to intimidate conservatives on campus, not just on state, but more broadly in the college system across the country. And during that process, he just kind of during the talk called me on up and asked me to explain what happened, and I did so, and it was a fun experience, and I'm glad that it happened. We had some protesters that got inside the event that started shouting out about the occurrence and getting mad about my being there, but thankfully nothing escalated.
Well, here's a statement from the school, from North Carolina State University, and this says, quote, "University policy permits student groups to invite speakers to campus. NC State cannot take away that right and will act responsibly to ensure that the event proceeds free from disruption or violence." Got about 5 seconds to go, Congressman. Your message, what we can learn from this.
Well, it's important for conservatives to continue to speak up on campus in an atmosphere that's kind of fraught with this kind of controversy, and I encourage Jack and other conservatives to keep doing it.
All right, Congressman Dan Bishop, son Jack Bishop, thank you both for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.